Hi, I'm Tim. This is Timberway Designs. I've been doing a series of videos doing a cabochon out of different kinds of rocks that I purchase and find. And this week we're going to do a cabochon out of this Amygdaloidal Basalt. I probably butchered that name pretty good, so I'm going to print it down below and you guys can figure out how to pronounce it yourselves. So let's make a cabochon. So in this episode, we're going to make a cabochon out of this Amygdaloidal Basalt. Yeah, I'm butchering the crap out of that. It's got some inclusions in it. I think this one don't have the pockets and stuff, and I already went ahead and cut this a while back, and I just couldn't believe how nice it looked. But this is kind of what it looked like. I think it must have had a lot more fractures than gas bubbles, and it filled in with maybe calcite. There's some red stuff here. Jasper possibly, I'm not sure. But I'm going to get this wet, and this thing is just beautiful. There is a couple gas pockets with some little agate things trying to form here. So let's take a closer look at this. The black basalt and the fissures and fractures running through there, it kind of glued everything together. I can't get over how cool that looks. So since I already sliced it, I got a slice right here. Get this wet. And this is the one we're going to use for our cabochon for this episode here. So as you can see, when I cut it, it's got an angular like that. So we're gonna draw our shape on this side here, and then the dome will take care of all this stuff here. So what I'll do, I picked out a shape. I'm gonna do a freeform, well, no bezel, 35 millimeters. This one right here. So we'll probably go on there about like that. So let's get this guy dried up and draw a mark on there and go downstairs and start processing. So like I said, I decided on a 32 millimeter oval. And we're going to get up on close to the edges here. I'm going to put it right about there. Now normally, for most of them, if they're light colored, I use a black Sharpie. Obviously, black Sharpie ain't going to work on this guy here because I'll never be able to see the line when I get it wet. But I could not find a silver Sharpie that would leave a decent mark that I could see. Well, then I tried one of these welding pencils here, and it works okay. I mean, you can see it good, but when you're going around in a circle here, because this is angular right here, it don't give you, it either makes it too big or too small, depending on how you hold the pencil up. So then I'm going to use, I use a silver Sharpie. And that seems to work pretty good. It gets me all the way out to the edges. So let's get this positioned here, and then we'll mark this up. So I can keep it on the stone. Okay, we got our mark. So now we're going to go downstairs. I'm going to put it on the trim saw. I'm going to cut off this piece here and this piece here, because there is no sense in grinding all that away when I can just chop it off with the trim saw. And then we'll grind it down to the line and go from there. All right, now we're down on my trim saw, and I'm going to take it, like we talked upstairs, I'm going to cut these edges off right here, and maybe that piece on the bottom. Come on the bottom down there. Okay, got the lion's share of it. Now we'll take it over on the cab machine and we'll grind it down to the line. Okay, I'm on my Kingsley North 6-inch cab machine. We're going to start grinding this guy down to the line. we'll start with the 80 grit, and then we'll go to the 220, and then the 280, and then I like to hit it with the 600 to kind of shine the edge up a little bit. Now you notice I'm not going all the way down the line on the 80 grit. I'll do that on the 220 grit because you got to be kind of careful. Some stones you'll start getting chip outs on the edges. Okay, I got it down about as close as to the line I want to get with the 80 grit. Now I'm going to hit it with the 220. And remember, you got to keep moving. You don't want to do a flat spot. And this shape here is not going in a bezel, so I'm just going to get it on the line the best I can. Okay, I think we got a good, pretty pleasing shape here. If you look at it closely, you get over here where you can see it. You can see where it kind of started busting off on the edges right there. This isn't too bad. I can take care of this as I process it. That was probably the only spot right there. But some stones, this would get really, really bad. So now I'm going to take it on the 280 grit, smooth out the edges, and then hit it on the 600. Okay, I dried the edge off a little bit. I got a little bit of shine going, and that's what I want. Because there's been times where when I used to not do this, I would get scratches from the abrasive wheels, and it's really hard to get out once you get to the dome stage. So I kind of like pre-polish it a little bit, and then I don't have to worry about it. If I don't polish it, it'll look just fine. So let's go upstairs and put a dop stick on this, and then we'll continue making this into a cab. I got the dot pot plugged in and warming up, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a chunk of wax on the end of this hot wax, and we're going to stick it to the stone so it's easier to cab if I got a way to hang on to it, because I don't like doing it with my fingers. I get a little more control this way. Now, I don't like keeping wax on my dop, so I'll show you how I take care of my do my dop sticks, my method. So this is the wax from all my dop sticks here. You recycle this stuff. When your dop pot gets low, you pour this back in to bring the level back up. So this is a stick that had a cabochon glued to it, and I pop them off in the freezer. So what I usually do is I'll take an old pair of pliers like this, and you just squeeze it a little bit on the ends. And this stuff's so brittle when it's cold. It comes right off clean just like that. And then I just put it in my holder here. Okay, dot pot's ready to go. We're going to go ahead and mount this cabochon on here so we can get her finished up. So what I usually do is I kind of get in there, swirl around a little bit, and I'll just let it sit to let the stick come up to temp so the wax sticks to it. And then you got to make sure you put your stone on here, or else the wax will not stick to a cold stone. All right, here we go. I usually give it a couple shakes, and I stick it on there. Kind of smear it around a little bit. Center up your stick. And then I try to I don't want it going over the edges. So I can see what the wax, I don't want the wax going over the edges. So, all right, I think she's starting to stiffen up here. We'll see you downstairs on the cab machine. Okay, we're back down on the cab machine. I'm going to take this guy. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this edge off with about a 45-degree angle. I like about a 1/8 inch to 2 millimeter girdle, which will be a flat spot along the edge. And then it'll be 45 degrees until I get to the center, and then I'll start doming it. Okay, I got my first part of the 45 grind on there. I'm happy with the way my skirt looks. Now I'm going to take this edge off on top with another 45 on top of that. So basically, I'm going to take this edge and get the focus here. About like that. Okay, I got that about where I want it. I got a little flat spot on top. Now I'm going to start doming it. Now when I dome it, I go back and forth. I don't go one way, and I just try to stay out of the skirt, and I keep flipping it back and forth so I get an even dome. Okay, I'm kind of happy with the shape. Kind of nice low profile dome, no flat spots on top. I get this thing to focus, okay. The girdle's still in good shape. Now I'm going to go to the 220 and take all the marks out from the 80 grit. Okay, I think I got all the marks out from the 80 grit, and you can see it's still got flat sides on it from the 220 because there's no cushioning on that one. So now I'm going to put it on the 280, and the 280 is kind of satisfying. It takes all the bumps out and it makes it smooth. Okay, I'm done with the 280 grit. It's nice and smooth, not super shiny yet. I also like to break the edge where the girdle is. I want a soft edge here because we're not putting it in a cup or anything. And now we'll move on to the polishing steps here. Okay, these are the polishing wheels. And we got 600, 1200, 3000, and cerium oxide sand polishing disc on the end here. So we'll start here and just go on down, polish it. Now I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it, just kind of a moderate to light pressure. And then just make sure you get all the way around the top and the sides too. Okay, we're starting to get a little shine going there. Hopefully it'll get a lot better than that. Okay, that's a 3000 grit. I thought it'd be a little wetter or darker than this. We're going to hit it with the cerium oxide disc now. Okay, we got the cerium oxide disc all set up, spraying all over the place, and we'll see if we can put polish on this guy. Well, not as black as I thought it'd come out, but it is pretty. So let's get it off the Dopp stick and I'll finish up the backside and we'll have a closer look at it. Okay, we got the cabochon all buffed up. I broke the edge on the back side here and smooth this out. I don't polish the back, I just smooth it. And we got a pretty good shine. Let's take a closer look at this little thing here. Okay, here's the cabochon that we sliced off that piece of Amygdaloidal Basalt. But then I'm not really sure, because usually Amygdaloidal Basalt has pockets versus cracks, filled cracks like this one here. But this one did have a pocket in it right there. So I don't know. Any of you geological experts out there, if you want to correct me, I'm okay with that. So let's take a good look at this. Got a pretty good shine on it. It didn't get as black as I thought it would, but it still looks good, I think. Got a little red streak running through there. And I'm liking that. So this one's just going to get a bail. And I got my glue here. I use E6000. I haven't had any problems with it. Works pretty good. Hangs on to them well. We'll put a little dab on there and glue it together. Call it good. Don't need a lot. Kind of smear it over there. And this is a little bigger bale, so I might just put a little bit more on there. You know, kind of want it oriented like this. Oops. Make sure we get it kind of straight on there. That looks good. All right, I'm going to set this off to dry, and it'll be on the Etsy store soon. So we went through all the steps to create a cabochon out of that piece of, I think it's Amygdaloidal Basalt. I've put the name down below. I don't pronounce that very well. If you like that stone, it will be available for sale in my Etsy store, and the link, you can click the link down below and it'll take you there. I don't do this. I'm kind of new at this. You guys can probably tell with all the ums and ands and stuff. I'm not a geologist, and I don't make a living off doing these stones here, but it's a very serious hobby. So if you really like the content, give me a thumbs up. And if you really like it, why don't you subscribe, and I'll keep creating more of this. I'll try to put one out every week because I have a lot of rocks downstairs. So with that being said, next week it's going to be lapis, and I'd like you to come back and check it out. So I'll catch you later.